What is up, beautiful people? Music and Beauty 92 here for another makeup tutorial. We're doing a back to school look, a very natural, kind of smoky-ish eye look. I know the first day is coming up, but hopefully this look will make your first day better. And today we're using the Too Faced chocolate bar palette, and let me tell you how cute is that packaging. It looks like a chocolate bar, that's why I looked like I was eating it, and it also smells like chocolate. Isn't that crazy? And besides all those amazing points, the eyeshadows are freaking gorgeous, so we are going to be using that today for today's look, and let's get started. So I already applied my foundation and I set it with some powder, and now I'm just going to go into some bronzing powder. This is NARS Casino bronzing powder that I'm using. I'm using a fluffy MAC brush. I'm kind of applying this to my forehead, to my temples, to the sides of my face, kind of creating a 3 on the side of my face and also on my jawline, and blending it out to my neck. Okay, moving on to highlighting and contour. For my highlight, I'm using a blend between Lyric and Levitation from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. And I'm using the highlighting side of the same brush that came with the palette, and I'm kind of applying this to my under eye circles just to brighten that part of my face, on the bridge of my nose and on the sides of my nose, and a little bit on my forehead, kind of in the part between my eyebrows. Yep. Okay, moving on to contouring. I'm using the color Shadow Play from the same palette that I use, and I'm using the angled side of that Kat Von D brush that comes, it doesn't come with it, but it is kind of like the brush for that palette. So I'm kind of just carving out the hollows of my cheeks, kind of just drawing out all the lines, and then we're going to go in and blend it all out. I'm putting it on my temples, a little bit on my forehead, and of course on my jawline. And then I'm using a MAC contouring brush just to blend it all out. I'm kind of doing a upwards blending motion and blending it towards my hairline, and that's kind of how I blend out my contouring. And then I'm gonna use Subconscious from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and just to like give my cheekbones a little bit more definition. Yep. And then I'm gonna just blend it all out. Okay, moving on to highlight, and of course I'm using my Becca Champagne Pop Highlighter. I am in love with this highlighter, and I'm using the highlighting side of the Kat Von D Shade and Light brush, and I'm just applying it to my cheekbones, the bridge of my nose, a little bit on my forehead, a little bit on my cupid's bow, and a little bit on my chin. Okay, moving on to blush, I'm using a MAC blush called Melba. It's this matte peachy blush, and I'm just using a MAC powder brush, and then I'm just going in and blending everything out. Moving on to eyes, I am using, of course, Urban Decay Primer Potion, and I'm just applying that all over my lids and on my lower lash line and in my inner corner. Now I'm going to apply some lip balm just to make sure that our lips are moisturized once we get to doing our lipstick. Okay, moving on to our crease color. I'm using Salted Caramel, which is this peachy brownish color, light brown color, and I'm using a Sephora crease brush to apply this to my crease. Sorry about my angle work. I literally suck at filming sometimes. Okay, so moving on to highlight, I'm using the color White Chocolate, which is this off-white matte color, and I'm using a MAC 227 brush to apply this to my brow bone. And then I'm using Milk Chocolate and using a MAC 224 brush to apply this between my crease and highlight just to make it nicely a transition color. Okay, so moving on to my lids, I'm first applying a NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Yogurt. It's this champagne-y pinky color that will help all the eyeshadows on our lids pop. Today's lids is kind of crazy. First, we're going to use Hazelnut. It's this really pretty light brown shimmery color. We're going to add this to the inner inner part of our lid, we kind of want to make the center of our lids focus just to make our eyes pop, and that's why we're using creme brulee in the center, which is this beautiful golden color. I'm kind of just adding a little bit more hazelnut right now. And now moving on to the center of our lids, I'm using creme brulee, which is this beautiful golden shimmery color, and you kind of, for this part, and now I'm gonna add hazelnut to the outer third of my lid, and you kind of want to pat everything in and make sure there's no harsh lines between creme brulee and hazelnut. And that's pretty much our eyelid. Oh, and now we're just gonna blend everything out with a MAC 224 brush, and I'm kind of just adding a little bit more hazelnut just to make sure that creme brulee pops out. Okay, moving on to our inner corner, I'm using a blend between Marzipan, which is this light champagne pink color, and Champagne Truffle, which is this really shimmery pink color. I actually applied yogurt in my inner corner. I don't know if I talked about it or not, and that will help those blend between those two eyeshadows pop. And I'm using a MAC 219 brush to apply this to my inner corner. And now moving on to my lower lash line, I'm using hazelnut on the outer part of my lower lash line, and then I'm going to use creme brulee and apply that in the middle of my lower lash line. And then I'm going to apply a NYX Wonder Pencil to make my eyes look bright and awake. Okay, so moving on to our liner, I am first applying Triple Fudge using a Sephora angled brush and kind of applying that Triple Fudge to my top liner just as a guide. And now I am using the L'Oreal Carbon Black Linear Intense and applying that over Triple Fudge and creating a wing. And yeah, that is pretty much my top liner. That's all I ever do for my top liner. Okay, so to smoke out the look, I'm using a blend between Semi-Sweet and Triple Fudge on the Chocolate Bar palette, and using a 217 brush to apply it to my kind of outer V, and then blending it with a 224 brush. And now to make the center of my lids pop, I'm using a MAC pigment in Melon. Okay, so after applying my falsies, I'm using the Ardell 308 accent lashes. I'm just curling my lashes and using the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. Oh yeah. Moving on to my lips. I am first lining my lips with Pink Treat, and this is literally my lip routine. I line my lips and then I fill out the outer corners of my top lip and my lower lip. Okay, moving on to lipstick, I'm using a NARS Audacious Lipstick in Anita. It's this really pretty mauvey pink color, and I'm using a e.l.f. concealer brush and using downward, kind of loading up that brush and using downward strokes to apply it. And now I'm applying MAC lip gloss in Nymphite. It is one of my favorite lip glosses, and then just kind of blending it out and making sure everything looks pretty. Okay, so this is the final look for my back to school look. I hope you guys like it, and I hope you try it out on your first day of school, whether it's high school, college, grad school, med school, whatever school. I hope you guys try it out on your first day. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a great first day back to school. And yeah, I'm kind of happy I'm not going back to school, but kind of not, because like, yeah, I liked school, but I hated tests. That was the worst part. Anyway, so I hope you guys liked today's tutorial, and I hope you guys check out my cover. I'll put a link over here. I did a cover of Should Have Been Us by Tori Kelly. It is one of my favorite songs at the moment, and I love Tori Kelly. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. And I will see you guys next week for another, next week is my special birthday tutorial. So yeah, definitely go check that out. I'm turning 23 on Wednesday, and it's crazy. So yeah, I will see you guys next week for my birthday tutorial / cover. And yeah, bye.